Hello my darlings, and welcome to a brand new video as part of the Fashion Mumblr Autumn Edit. Today we are going to be styling new high street pieces. One of the questions that I most often get asked is how to style more affordable pieces in a way that looks a little bit more luxurious, a little bit more expensive, and how to find those high street pieces that are going to stand the test of time in our wardrobes and fit in with a really lovely, classic, elegant style. So I think the pieces that I have to show you today and the tips that I'll be showing in today's video really do tick all of those boxes. Darlings, if you have just stumbled across this video, I'm doing a new styling fashion video every single day this week to get our wardrobes ready for the autumn season. So if you're new here, I would love it if you click the subscribe button down below. And as always, everything that I show in today's video will be linked in the description box down below. So kicking off with the outfit that I'm wearing now, and to be honest, this outfit, I can apply most of my tips on how to make the high street look a little bit more high-end to this outfit. At the risk of sounding very, very repetitive, because this is a tip that I share all the time, one of the best things that you can do if you want to make your affordable look a little bit more high-end is to stick to a neutral color palette. There are just so many benefits of sticking to a neutral color palette, but the one that's most appropriate today is that neutrals just tend to look a little bit more luxurious, and actually they're a little bit more forgiving. And with neutral pieces, there are often very few telltale signs that your outfit is from an affordable retailer. I just want to put it out there at this stage that there is no shame, there is absolutely nothing wrong with buying things from more affordable retailers. I always say quality over quantity, but if you can have a few tips in mind that can make your look a little bit more elevated, then why wouldn't you? Sticking to a neutral color palette can also make your pieces a lot more hard-working because they're more likely to work with other things in your wardrobe, as well as matching with other neutrals really well, such as with this neutrally toned skirt. They should also match with so many other things in your wardrobe, no matter whether it's patterned or a really beautiful bold color. If you are dressing head to toe high street, then one way of making your entire look a little bit more luxurious is dressing in all neutrals. It doesn't need to be the exact same color. For example, with this one I have got a few different tones going on, but whether it's a lovely creamy white shade on the top, a neutral beige sandy color for the skirt, and cream colored boots, although all of these pieces are from the high street, because we're sticking to that lovely neutral color palette, it really elevates the entire look. Something that I frequently say here on this channel is to invest in those classic pieces that are really going to be those workhorses for your wardrobe, and something that I always recommend investing in is a classic jumper like this. But I appreciate that not everyone's budget is up there for Reese pieces, or maybe you just don't want to spend that much on a jumper. So my next tip is to know which retailers do certain clothing styles really well at the best value for money. Okay, we're going to talk about the jumper again. This is from And Other Stories, and I feel like And Other Stories is one of those retailers that you can trust when it comes to great value knitwear. It's not the cheapest retailer on the high street when it comes to knitwear, but these pieces, in my opinion, are the best value for what you pay versus the quality that you get. Often you'll find really, really classic pieces, which yes, this is, but sometimes what I love about the knitwear in And Other Stories, and I do have an entire And Other Stories haul from earlier in the week, but they often have these really lovely but very simple design details, such as this one has actually got an open section at the back. It'd be really cool to wear like a pendant necklace down the back, but these little additional design details are often normally seen in slightly higher priced retailers, but And Other Stories does it really, really well. So having said that, I tend to go for slightly more premium retailers for my classic pieces in my wardrobe. I will nearly always go to the high street for those more trend-led pieces, and Topshop is another retailer that I absolutely adore, and they are usually my go-to when it comes to looking for pieces which are a little bit more trend focused. I don't like to spend huge amounts of money on things which aren't timeless, but I do still want to dabble with a few trends. For example, this season it's kind of the equestrian trend, a little bit prairie style, but we are seeing fringing coming back in again, but it's not something that I want to spend a huge amount of money on, so the high street has some really beautiful options, and Topshop was my first port of call to try out this trend. If I am going to be bringing a high street trend piece into my wardrobe, I'll try and keep it as classic as possible, So this piece, because it is in a neutral color, ticks that box as well. If you are looking to make an investment this season, then a luxury handbag can make a huge impact on an otherwise high street outfit. And I would apply the same tips that I've mentioned earlier in this video, specifically sticking to a neutral color. This is my new baby for the season, the beautiful new Chloe test bag, which you can use my 10% discount code for. I'll leave a link down below. Opting for something which is very timeless and classic in its style and a neutral color ensures that it will go with all of your outfits and be stylish for many seasons and in fact years to come. I know so many of my friends prefer to wear all high street outfits and then just add a luxury handbag, and it instantly just makes the entire look seem so much more elevated and so much more expensive looking. I'm not going to dwell too much on luxury handbags because again I know that that's not in everybody's price bracket, but if you're looking for a bag on the high street, again and other stores has some amazing options. Again, I would say quality over quantity when it comes to the handbags. Look for those slightly more upper high street pieces, whether it's brands like Tory Burch or Michael Kors, Kate Spade, brands that aren't quite designer price level but still have that amazing quality. But if you are looking to get a handbag on the high street, look again at the color, the material, ensure that it's a really nice thick leather or potentially a faux croc skin. That's something that again looks really timeless and is going to work with all of your outfits. An accessory I think we're going to be seeing a lot of this autumn as well is hats. This one is from Lack of Color, and again a stylish hat I think can make such an impact and such a statement to an otherwise simple high street outfit. H&M have some beautiful options as well, and other stores too. I paired this look with a cute little YSL bag and it instantly just elevated the entire outfit. And something else to consider if you do want to add a luxury handbag to your look without spending an absolute fortune is renting one. There are so many companies doing it now. One of my favorites is the Catwalk Club. That's a much more affordable way of getting a luxury handbag into your wardrobe but without having to splurge thousands of pounds. The high street is always my go-to when it comes to slightly more patterned pieces, but I still like to ensure that the pattern is fairly timeless and not too over the top and detailed. It's quite hard to pinpoint what makes certain patterns look a little bit cheap, but I think if in doubt, keep it a little bit more simple. One of my favorite pattern dresses for the upcoming season is this one from Topshop. You can see the top layer is almost this kind of chiffon-y material, so it's great for this transitional time between summer and autumn. I've styled it with a pair of boots which were from Topshop last year and a brown coat which is Topshop new season. Again, I'm sticking to quite a neutral color palette here, but with the pattern of the dress it adds a little bit more interest to the look, and I've added a few slightly more luxurious accessories such as this belt, and a lovely handbag would complete this look perfectly. Even though these pieces might be a little bit more affordable, I still want to get a lot of wear out of them. I like all the pieces that I bring into my wardrobe to be real hard workers, so I like to imagine lots of different outfit combinations. So a dress like this I can definitely imagine wearing when it gets a little bit colder with over-knee boots, maybe even a chunky jumper or a gilet over the top. Something like this is a really lovely layering piece when it starts to get a little bit more chilly. When shopping on the high street, another of my tips is to pay attention to those finer details, and that's things like the closures, the buttons especially can often be a telltale sign if something is a little bit cheaper. A retailer that pays really good attention to these finer details is H&M, and as you know, I'm just loving the H&M collection at the moment. I am making far too many orders. This jumper is one of my favorite pieces from their current collection, and if you look closely you can see that they've chosen some really beautiful buttons, and it's still a very classic piece. Just a chunky cardigan is something that's so cozy, so timeless, and it does make you think, why would you spend loads of money on a more expensive jumper when H&M have literally ticked all the boxes with this one? They also have the most beautiful jumper dresses in H&M this season. If you've invested wisely in things like your footwear and your bags and your outerwear, not necessarily this year but in past years, then you can get away with much more affordable pieces such as your dresses, your jumpers and your skirts, which you can switch around season after season. A kind of silly tip, but don't underestimate the importance of a good pair of sunglasses, and you really don't need to spend a fortune on these. In fact, some of my favorite sunglasses from this season have been from Topshop, especially for the more kind of on-trend styles. But I think if you're looking for a classic pair, then don't be afraid to invest a little bit more. I know I've mentioned a few slightly more higher priced accessories within this video, so I would say overall, if you can invest in one luxury piece to add to your high street outfit, it is going to make the world of difference. Something else to keep in mind is, of course, the fit. Just because you get something in the sale or it's really cheap doesn't mean you should get something that fits you badly. It is often very much worth investing that tiny bit more in taking something to the tailor's tailors to get it to fit you perfectly, but anything that clearly doesn't fit you well is always going to look a lot cheaper. I think if something is too small, no matter how much you love it, it is best to leave it. If something is too big and you absolutely can't resist, then take it to the tailor, because having something that fits you well can make a really affordable piece look so much more expensive. And my final point to bear in mind, something that you may have noticed throughout the outfits that I've been showing you as examples in this video, is to avoid embellishments. We want to keep our outfits simple, and embellishments are often a telltale sign that something is from a more affordable retailer. In my humble opinion, I think embellishments can often just make high street pieces look tacky, so I am naturally drawn to things which just keep it a little bit more simple. The Topshop dress that I showed you is probably the most detailed that I would go when it comes to high street pieces, and again, it's all in the styling. So darlings, those are my tips on how to elevate a high street outfit. I hope you found them interesting and useful, and just have them in the back of your head next time you are visiting a high street or doing some online shopping at more affordable retailers. So that is all from me for today's video. Thank you darlings so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow for another one. Bye!